What's up, guys? I have another camera-related video, but first, Ava wants to say hello.
I'm here too.
She's lurking. That's pretty fun. It's actually snowing really hard in Memphis, which is not a typical occurrence. It very rarely snows here, and usually it's like ice storm kind of snow where all the power goes out, and everything's covered in ice, and tree limbs fall down and stuff, so it's not very fun. But this time, we actually got like 4 to 6 inches of light, fluffy, like kind of dryish snow. So that's pretty cool. So after I finish this video, me and Ava are going outside to do some snow things.
Yay!
Okay. So, at any rate, so this video is about a dash cam that I bought. I think it's pretty much a requirement to have a dash cam if you live in the Memphis area and probably really any major city where there's lots of people driving around being insane, no insurance, no tags, swerving through traffic and stuff. That's pretty much my normal commute on the 240 loop every day. So I highly recommend a dash cam in general. I have a Ring dash cam in Daisy's car, and that's cool despite its weirdness. It's a internet connected dash cam, has a cellular plan, and it's like kind of weird in that there's good stuff and bad stuff about it. It shows the inside and the outside. It's got two-way communication, just like a Ring doorbell. And it's got a cellular plan, so you can view it from anywhere. You can check on your car if it's parked in a garage. So all of those things make it good for a family car. But I switch cars a lot. And like most dash cameras, that one sticks to the windshield with an adhesive. And I wanted something that I could mount on like a suction cup and quickly move between cars, because this is going to be for whatever car I'm driving. That's just going to be a car for sale because I'm a car dealer. So what I happened across was the Rove R2-4K Pro. They have an older version, the R2-4K, which despite the name is kind of fake upscaled 4K. Well, the R2-4K Pro is actually native 4K. So I figured that was worth it. I kind of just happened across it on an Amazon flash sale, and it was like under $90, and it seemed to check all my boxes. It's reasonably small, comes with a suction cup mount. You can just power it off a cigarette lighter plug. It's got a capacitor instead of a battery, which is very important for warmer climates. It's 4K, which is nice, actual 4K. So I was like, screw it. That's probably worth a shot, you know? So I ordered it, and I also picked up a Samsung Pro Endurance 256 gig SD card because it was pretty cheap, all things considered. For any dash cam, you definitely do want to get a high endurance SD card. Like you're going to be, the way that dash cameras work is they basically overwrite the oldest video once the car gets full. So basically the entire time you're driving, they're constantly writing to the SD card and then deleting stuff and then writing to the SD card, like pretty well endlessly. So you're really going to want something that is made for a long life of multiple rewrites. So with the camera, you get actually quite a few things. You get the suction cup mount, you get an adhesive mount, you get a short power cable if you just want to do what I did and stick it to the dash, and then the cable goes straight down like to your cigarette lighter outlet. You get a long one if you want to run it like up in your trim around your windshield and hide the cable better. I would not bother with that. I'll get to that in a minute though, but it does come with it. It comes with the actual cigarette lighter adapter. It has two USB-A's on it. I'm actually not using that one because I already had I believe it's an Anchor adapter that has a USB-A and then a USB-C that does like 30 watts or something. So that way I can use the dash cam on the USB-A, and then I can use the USB-C to charge my phone or my, laptop in a pinch, or iPad or cameras or whatever. Oh, this camera actually is USB-C, which is another thing that I really liked. It doesn't really matter because typically you just use the one cable with it, but the older most dash cameras up to very surprisingly not that long ago used not micro USB but mini USB. Well, this one's a Type C. It is annoyingly the cheap Type C that you cannot use a Type C to Type C cable on. It's not real Type C. It's like USB-A with a Type-C connector, you know what I mean? So it's got to be USB-A on the charger end, but it is at least USB-C on the dash camera end. So whatever. I'll still take that as a win over freaking mini USB in 2023. That's crazy. So comes with all that stuff, comes with a spudger, kind of like a little plastic trim tool if you're gonna hide the wires. As I mentioned, I am just using it with the suction cup mount because I'm going to switch it pretty frequently, and I'm also just letting the wire just dangle down. Like, it's not that big of a deal. If I were a normal person that just had one car and I just drove that car for years, I would invest in a hardwire kit. The hardwire kit will tie into your fuse box, and when the key is off, it'll go into parking mode, which I haven't even tried because I'm not installing it that way. But the way most of them work is they either use like a G-force sensor for if someone gets in the car, or a motion sensor if people walk past. And they use that to wake up the camera and do some recording, like if people walk past your car. And then when you turn the key on, it'll just start recording. The way I've got it configured with it's into a power outlet, and that just gets power when the car comes on. So when you crank the car, it starts recording. When you turn the car off, it stops recording. You have no parking mode, but that's kind of the price I pay for switching cars too often. But yeah, if you're just buying this for your daily driver, I would definitely get the hardwire kit. It's like $25 or $30. So definitely do that. But I'm doing it the weird way so I can move it around. So I got it mounted in the car. The app works pretty well. The main problem I had when I got this was there are two dash cams that are named Rove. One is ROAV, which is the first app that I downloaded, which is not for this camera, which wouldn't work at all, and took me a embarrassingly long time to figure out why. The other one is ROVE, which is this camera, and it works pretty okay. There's some weird connectivity stuff, but honestly, all these dash cams have kind of mid apps. But this works well enough. If something happens, you can connect to the camera. You can get your video off, and worst case scenario, you could always pull the SD card out. Whatever, it works. I stuck it to the windshield and did some driving, and then pulled some footage off. I will say this. A dash camera will definitely demonstrate how not clean your windshield ever is, even directly after you clean it. Even if you clean it with really good glass cleaner and like paper towels and squeegee the outside, it's still not clean ever. Because I still get like some kind of like, it looks like my windshield has astigmatism or something at night, even though I've cleaned the crap out of it like multiple times. I think it's just because it's mounted in a 2006 Subaru, and I think that's the original windshield, and it's just a little bit pitted. Like, I don't think it's ever going to be 100% perfect because it's like a near 20-year-old car at this point, but whatever. I stuck it in the car and I drove around. In the daytime, it's really good. I'm pretty impressed with it. Like, the dynamic range is pretty damn good for a dash camera. I'm shooting in 4K 30, which I feel like is kind of the best compromise. Theoretically, you would want 60 frames per second to really capture motion, stuff like a license plate of a car driving past you, but I don't, at least none of the dash cameras that I've tried are really good enough to pull that off, because like, it'll look good in the daytime in bright sunlight, but trying to shoot 60 frames per second on a tiny sensor at night just sucks. So I think the best middle ground is 4K 30. 30 frames per second looks pretty good. You can get some detail, and 4K is big enough, and it looks good day and night. But yeah, daytime footage, really good. Nighttime footage, pretty good. It gets super noisy, but honestly, that's the logical thing to do for a dash camera. Like, if you're making video to be like a creative video, then you might want to turn down the ISO and have less noise and have a cleaner image. But the purpose of a dash cam is just to show things. If someone runs out in front of you, if someone pulls out in front of you, to prove that, this person backed up into me at a stoplight, I didn't rear end them. And you would rather be able to see that than have a super perfect image. So I get why they just jack the ISO up. And it honestly doesn't look bad. Like, I did some driving on some back roads. We went out to look at Christmas lights. And even at the high ISO, it's totally usable video. You could definitely, use it. And in when there's more lighting at night, it looks pretty good too. I had this the other night. Let's see, where I went to look at, nope, where it was after we went to look at Christmas lights. We went and got some Thai food, and I took a little bit of video pulling out of the Thai place. It was nighttime, but it's in a well-lit shopping center, so that looks good. I also had a really weird thing happen to me. So I've been planning to make this dash camera video for, like you can see the date on the video, it was like a month ago. So I've been kind of collecting footage and stuff. Well, the other day I was driving home from work, and I'm just driving down the road, and the road kind of gently curves, and the person beside me first veers off. I'm in the left lane, they're in the middle lane. It's a 3-lane road. They're in the middle lane, and so as we're going around the curve, they kind of veer over into the right lane, realize that they're swerving, I guess, overcorrect into my lane, and almost hit me. And my first thought was, of course, like a variety of random curse words because they almost crashed into me. But then my second thought was, awesome. This is a great example of why you should have a dash camera in your car, because if they actually had hit me, it would be really hard to prove that they're the ones that left their lane and came into mine. Like, who knows? Maybe they're decent people and just be like, oh, I wasn't paying attention and I swerved and hit him. It's my fault. But in the fairly likely event that they're, buttholes, and they tried to blame me, having a dash camera would actually prove that I was in my lane and they swerved into mine. Without a dash camera, it would be my word versus theirs. Insurance companies would probably assign half blame or something like that, unless the cop just took someone's side, or maybe if you get lucky and someone stops and is a witness. But I would rather I would rather rely on a camera rather than the kindness of strangers. That's just me. But so I thought that was interesting that I actually caught a near miss, like within a couple of weeks of putting this in my car, someone almost hit me. So that's kind of crazy. But yeah, this seems like a really good bang for your buck dash camera. Like I said, video quality is good. All the features are there. It checks all the boxes. It would be even better hardwired, but as I said, I'm going to switch it around. It's like, I think it's like let's actually go on Amazon. I'll just show some random footage from it while I look it up. So currently, dash camera. There we go. Rove R2-4K Pro. I paid like, I think $80 for it. Yeah, see, it's currently, it says list price is $160 basically, but right now it's on sale for $129 with a $10 off coupon. So like you can get it under $100 for sure if you're patient. At that price, pretty good camera, like it pretty much does everything you want a dash camera to do. Thus far, the suction cup has not failed me. Granted, it's winter time and that usually happens in the summer, but who knows? Thus far, the suction cup hasn't failed me. The footage is good. It's been reliable. Every time something has happened and I've gone to the camera to pull up the footage, it's been there. It of course has the standard features, like you can change the resolution, there's a button in the middle that like marks something as like an emergency so it won't overwrite it. But honestly, with a 256 gig card, I think you'd have to go drive for like 15 more hours to overwrite it anyway. So I've just stopped when I got home, pulled the footage off. But yeah, like I've used it about a month. It's been 100% reliable. It turns on every time the car turns on. It's always recording. Footage is good day and night. Like, I think it's worth having. Like $100 is a small, well, I guess $100 plus about 20 for an SD card is a small price to pay to have that kind of, backup plan. A little bit of cheap insurance if someone were to swerve into your lane or run into you or whatever. Like, seems worth having. So that's my video for today. Now my crazy child wants to go out and play in the snow and make some kind of video. And now she wants a YouTube channel. So I've got a bunch of other stuff to do. But check out the dash cam. It's pretty good. Later.